Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Skokie Village Board for Monday, November the 19th, 2018. Ordinarily, we don't get this large an audience for a Cook County Class 6B real estate tax incentive, so I'm sure I can see all of you are eager to testify before the board this evening on that. And John, you've whipped up some real enthusiasm for your report this evening. This evening, we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Cub Scout Pack 968 from School District 68. Gentlemen?
Will the audience please rise? Color guard, post the colors. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Color guard retreat. Color guard. Color guard dismissed. Please stand and pledge.
Thank you. Great job. The meeting will come to order, and the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Roberts. Here. Trustee Sutker.
Here.
Trustee Ulrich.
Here.
Trustee Bromberg.
Here.
Trustee Klein.
Here.
Trustee Greg Keeler is absent today. Mayor Wenderson.
Here, we have a quorum. Next item is approval of the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. A motion is in order. Trustee Sucker, seconded by Trustee Roberts. Is there anything on the consent agenda anybody would like to have removed? If not, I'll call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Wenderson.
Aye, the motion passes. I believe Jessica Beverly is with us. Is that right, Jessica? If you would just, thank you. With the board's vote this evening, Jessica is leaving the Sustainable Environmental Advisory Commission and is moving over to the Zoning Board of Appeals. And I want to thank Jessica for all of the work and stewardship that she gave us and the Environmental Advisory Commission. She was very attentive, and I think, as many of you probably know from the recent news, we have just taken on a new environmental status in the region, and in large part it's due to Jessica. A lot of the work that this commission has done. Trustee Roberts serves on the commission as our liaison, and I want to thank Jessica for that. And I want her to know that we're going to up the amount of work she has now. That's the reward you get. You get less pay, but much more work. So, Jessica, thank you. But we appreciate everything you've done. And I would like to introduce Battalion Chief Stephen Ledkowski, formerly with the village, for a personnel life-saving certificate. Chief Jason Brandt is with us.
Mayor, thank you. I'd like to do another award, if we can, real quick, before Battalion Chief Stephen Ledkowski comes
Certainly.
up. For the same incident, thank you for the opportunity to recognize several of our members for their exemplary performance. There are a few moments in a firefighter's career that define them as a person and challenge their courage. On February 16, 2018, at 11:22 at night, the firefighters responded to a report of a structure fire with rescues. Rescues in the fire service means that people are trapped inside of a structure and need the firefighters to go inside and get them out. Normal fire ground operations require firefighters to risk a lot for savable lives, risk little for savable property, and risk nothing for lives and property already lost. On February 16th, there was a lot to be saved. The Unit Citation Award is an award to a fire company or fire companies for an outstanding act or achievement that brings credit to the department and which involves performance above and beyond that which is expected in the line of duty. Will the members that will be called please stand to be recognized? Engine 17, Captain William Andre, Firefighter Charles Dageneff, Firefighter Christopher Pratt. On Squad 18, we had Lieutenant Roger Pettinger, Firefighter Tim O'Malley, Firefighter Joseph Biasi. On Rescue 17, we had Acting Lieutenant Christopher Riley, Firefighter Timothy Moran, Firefighter Michael Peterson. On Tower Ladder 16, Lieutenant Nicholas Eschner, Firefighter Michael Yan, Firefighter Scott Wallace. Ambulance 17 was Firefighter Kyle Connor. And Battalion Chief Stephen Lakowski was in charge of the entire incident. And tonight we have the ability to present all those members the Unit Citation Award. At this time, I would like to call Battalion Chief Stephen Lakowski forward to present the Medal of Merit. The Medal of Merit is an award presented to a member who performs a personal act in a courageous manner in the protection of life while engaged in the mediation of fire, medical emergency rescue, hazardous materials, or other types of incident. Battalion Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. I just want to show you this picture. You can pass it around to kind of give you an idea that night what the guys were up against. On the night of February 16th at 23:22 hours, the Skokie Fire Department was dispatched to a house fire located at 8028 Tripp Avenue. Tower Ladder 16 crew, led by Lieutenant Eschner, Firefighter Yan, Firefighter Wallace, responded as one of the first due companies. Although initially fire companies were told that there was a possibility of 2 victims in the house, prior to their arrival, we were notified that the victims were out. On arrival, Tower Ladder 16's crew was assigned to do a primary search. While en route to the rear, they encountered an adult male who was attempting to re-enter the rear door. They pulled the victim from the heat and smoke of the rear door and were able to determine that there were still 2 other victims inside. Without the aid of protective hose lines and under intense heat and smoke caused by a fully involved building, the crew entered the rear of the structure and found an elderly female on the kitchen floor, which they quickly removed and transferred to EMS personnel. They then re-entered the house again without the aid of protective hose line, and found an elderly male in the hallway, which they removed to the exterior and transferred to EMS personnel. Through their actions and dedication to preserve life, Tower Ladder 16 crew were able to transfer to EMS personnel 3 patients who were conscious at the time of transport. These actions go to the heart of the Medal of Merit, as it was intended. This crew has earned them for the actions in the night of 2/16. So they will receive the Medal of Merit, and this will hang in the station. Lieutenant Eschner. Firefighter Michael Yan. Firefighter Wallace.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to recognize former Fire Chief Jim Walters, who has come all the way in from Schaumburg, oh my gosh, to be with us. Good to see you, Jim. What really can you say beyond the fact that it's just a remarkable display of courage to run toward problems like this? I don't think any of us who've seen any of the footage on those tragic fires in California can't be but enormously impressed with the bravery of the firemen across this country. And Skokie is uniquely lucky because we have the best. I don't just say that. It's the national organizations that have recognized it, and the residents of the village recognize it. Every 3 years, we take a professionally done survey of our residents. We don't do it ourselves. It's done outside by an objective, experienced company that does these kinds of surveys across municipalities in the country. Every time we've taken the survey, and it's been almost 20 years now, our fire department and our police department, you guys seem to be competing with each other, both get 90% recognition from the village as being among the finest. It's not an easy job being a fireman, because you go to work every day hoping you can prevent fires, but you never know what is going to happen. We're enormously grateful for your courage, as well as your dedication to the village and to each other. And that's why the national organizations have given the Village of Skokie's Fire Department an ISO rating #1 and the highest accreditations that you can possibly get. Thank you for everything that you do. We want to thank Lieutenant Eichner, Firefighter Jan, and Firefighter Wallace for their exemplary courage. We appreciate it very much, and I hope you do know that the entire village recognizes everything that you do for us. Thank you very much. And since we have an audience, I'm going to ask Beth Lindley, who's our Director of Human Services, to bring us up to date on the Skokie Assist a Family program, and then we'll take a short break. I know I don't want to disappoint anybody, but we won't take the Class 6B until after the break. So, Beth?
Thank you, Mayor and trustees. As you know, the Assist a Family program has been in existence for more than 20 years. We assist nearly 200 families each year and more than 350 children within those households. These are families who have experienced loss of employment, accidents, or illness, impairing their ability to work. Many are single parents working multiple jobs. We help them by hearing their stories, acknowledging their strengths, and by connecting them with the rich resources in our community. Assist a Family provides families the independence to purchase what they need, often basic household needs, as well as a little something extra for their kids. You may also know that our partners in the community see the Human Services Office as a resource. They call us when they are looking for a specific idea or a program that maybe we know about to help. They call us when families they work with are struggling and could use our help. And they call us because they want to help too. We have been supported by our local businesses, schools, congregations and families who organize and collect donations for our program. Some donate gift cards and others checks or cash, which we are more than happy to accept. And we use this to purchase gift cards for Target, Jewel, Aldi, Walmart. The donations are directed to the Human Services Division, noting the Assist a Family program as the designation. Our generous donors can also now apply online. The Skokie.org website currently has a link on our front page, which allows visitors to go directly to a payment page and make donations electronically. And one additional opportunity to share will be at the Interfaith Thanksgiving service tomorrow evening, where an offering will also support the Assist a Family program, as well as collect food donations for the Niles Township Food Pantry. The Interfaith Service is a collaborative effort of the Niles Township Clergy Forum. It'll be again tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. at St. Peter Catholic Church on Niles Center Road. We often receive hugs, verbal thanks, and cards from the families we meet, and one of them wrote this to us last year. Our family would like to say thank you for blessing our family with the gift and resources to support our family during the holidays. You treated us with respect, kindness, and privacy, and most important, love. Thank you to our Skokie neighbors. It's an honor for me to lead the efforts of the Human Services Division, and I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Beth, thank you.
Thank you.
And I would just want to, reiterate one of the most inspirational events we have during the year is the interfaith service in anticipation of Thanksgiving. And this village has so much to be thankful for. We honored this evening and thanked Battalion Chief, our Lieutenant, 2 of our firefighters for their courage. I want to thank Beth and the Human Services Department for everything that they do to look out for those in our community who aren't as fortunate. The one thing that I think makes us all thankful, though, is that we have each other. And that's a gift, because not every community, I think, is bound together like this one. So thanks to all of you, and let's take a short break.
Mayor, can I say one
Oh.
thing before?
Okay?
I just wanted to say that regarding the rescue that happened, the success of that rescue didn't start when those tones went off. That rescue started long before that because of the leadership of that man. He ran a tight ship, tough to deal with sometimes, but he was a sturdy taskmaster. He held these guys' feet to the fire. And that's why when those tones went off, those guys knew what they were doing, because of that man.
Stephen Lukowski. Indeed. And what?
Always a joke.
And what? If you've ever seen him do stand-up, it's unforgettable. Let me just put it that way. Let's take a short break so we can all congratulate and give thanks. Thank you.
Catherine? You started advertising?
You know, she's gonna copy but I have a strategy.
Remain. You agreed on numbers, though. The numbers are all set. Numbers, yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good.
I know it's a cruise ship.
It is. It is, yeah.
His moving stuff.
Right. Get your own town? This wasn't the last, everybody knew this wasn't the last stop on the train for you. I mean, really.
That's true. So, well, he's got a long way to go till retirement. So, my other option
I know,
is to
we're
be the
stuck with
longest
him.
serving. So the alternative is to be the longest serving assistant manager in the history of the state of Illinois.
Yeah, that looks good, the epitaph.
Right.
You want to be the guy from Buffalo Grove.
Well, he's doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah, the highest
no
paid.
question.
He's the highest paid in the
That
state.
article about Dave.
Oh, did we?
Okay.
Yes.
Trustee Roberts, could you close the door? Thank you.
You noticed that? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hey, John, would that be a lesson?
When I get tired of it, it doesn't mean anything, it's just, I got tired of it.
Next item on the agenda, as promised, although I don't know where everybody went. I thought we would have more people. Report of our village manager, John Lockerbie.
Thank you, Mayor Van Duzen and Village Board. Good evening, everyone. Item A is regarding the TIF reimbursement and development agreement for the Elmwood Collection Townhomes located at 8314 to 8325 Elmwood Street. In mid-2016, Tony Varda of Swift Childcare and Varda and Company presented the Village Board with a proposal for the Elmwood Collection, a development of townhomes at the 8314 to 8326 Elmwood Street location. Actually, Tony and Joanna Varda are here in the audience this evening, and so if you would wave. As part of the development agreement, Mr. Varda has requested tax increment finance or TIF district assistance. After negotiations with village staff and the developer, a pay-as-you-go TIF reimbursement grant has been recommended for issuance to 4900 Madison LLC, the developer. The amount is not to exceed $115,000, and funds will be utilized for extraordinary costs associated with this adaptive reuse, which is situated in a unique location. The project construction will produce 7 new 3-story townhomes above an existing vacant warehouse that will be repurposed to a parking garage for these new residences. Each townhome will be approximately 2,700 square feet and feature 3 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms. Units will be appointed with private roof terraces, glass foyers, fireplaces, and upgraded chef's kitchens, oak hardwood floors, and exposed brick. Village staff believes this project will be a significant addition to the downtown, helping rejuvenate the area, which is located near the newly developed bike path. The Downtown Science and Technology TIF District will expire in 2029, and staff has been working with developers to bring a mutually equitable project to stimulate growth and investment in the area. Staff believes the Elmwood Collection further diversifies our housing options in the downtown. Staff projects property taxes over the remaining life of the TIF district will exceed the TIF eligible cost amounts the developer is seeking. Based upon the anticipated assessed value of the project and estimated tax rates, the project is expected to generate over $40,000 annually. Thus, the TIF reimbursement grant is anticipated to be paid off no later than 2022. I concur with staff's recommendations, mayor and board approval of the resolution authorizing the development agreement, which contains a pay-as-you-go TIF reimbursement grant in an amount not to exceed $115,000 is respectfully requested.
A motion on the TIF reimbursement and development agreement for the Elmwood Collection Townhomes, 8314 to 8323 Elmwood Street is in order. Trustee Klein, seconded by Trustee Bromberg. Are there any comments or questions? Trustee Klein.
Is the number correct? Is this 2,700 square feet for a townhouse?
It is. Leslie Murphy has been working with Tony Varda, and Leslie or Tony, if you'd like to just speak briefly to that question? Sure. Please just come to the microphone if you would.
Good evening.
Hi.
It's actually exactly 2778.
That's like huge.
Yeah.
No, but I want to now.
If you get a chance, or maybe you have, drive by. I have not been inside, but I've driven by a couple times now. This is really impressive. But I also must also say that Swift Childcare, I remember, and I can't remember how long ago it was, but started out on Lincoln Avenue. My grandson, who, believe it or not, will be 19 in just another month or so, went to Swift when it first started, and it has grown. There's a beautiful park that they created just at the north, and then the townhomes are just a little north, a little east of that. It's a unique project, and I must say, you've got nothing but my compliments. It's very impressive.
Thank you very much.
Trustee Roberts.
Mr. Varda, what's the timetable? I've been by, they look beautiful. When do you think you'll be done and they'll be leasing or buying?
Sure. So 5 of 7 are already sold. So 2 are left. Number 6 is being shown, I think, this weekend. October delayed us about a good 2 to 3 weeks with the rain. We'll see what the weather brings in the winter. But the tentative timetable is close to the end of spring. We'll be delivering.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Wendus.
Aye, proudly. Congratulations. Next item is the long-anticipated Cook County 6B. John?
That's quite the expectations have been set very high. Now, the item B is regarding the Cook County 6B real estate tax incentive for 7520 Long Avenue and 7515 to 7555 Linder Avenue. Economic Development staff is recommending a Class 6B property tax incentive for these properties. Each of these properties is either vacant or functionally obsolete. 7515 and 7555 Linder currently offer interior loading only with limited access to building docks. The tenant of 7555 Linder has recently decided to relocate as the building no longer suits the company's needs. 7515 and 7555 Linder are condominium units with a common wall, which creates complications for ownership and occupancy. The property located at 7520 Long is vacant and not ADA compliant. Georgia Nut currently utilizes a portion of the space for storage. Pantone Development Incorporated proposes to construct a new 140,000 square foot state-of-the-art speculative facility to serve current users in the marketplace. Pantone completed a similar project at 7711 Grosse Point Road in 2014. Current tenants in that development include U.S. Auto, MyFav Electronics, and Snyder's of Hanover. Panattoni is scheduled to purchase the properties in January, with demolition and construction set to begin as quickly as weather permits. The projected completion date for the development is the fourth quarter of 2019. It is expected that this development will mirror the 7711 Grosse Point Road with the creation of approximately 140 full-time jobs. Jason Rosenberg, a partner of Panattoni, is in the audience this evening. A Class 6B incentive provides a property tax reduction for 12 years. Approval of the village board and Cook County Assessor's Office is necessary. The assessed valuation on the combined properties was $1.9 million, with annual property taxes of approximately $473,000. If the buildings were to be reassessed as largely vacant, the valuation would likely drop to $696,000, with estimated property taxes at $185,000, which is a 61% decrease from the non-vacant status. However, staff is projecting that following the purchase and subsequent construction, the valuation would be approximately $1.2 million. A $1.2 million property will produce an estimated $300,000 in annual property taxes. Thus, even with the Class 6B in place, this is over 62% higher than what the properties would generate if the buildings were to remain vacant. I concur with staff's recommendation and their assessment that this project is an excellent candidate for a Class 6B reclassification. I respectfully request mayor and board approval of a resolution authorizing this designation.
A motion on the Cook County 6B real estate tax incentive for 7520 Long Avenue and 7515 to 7555 Linder is in order. Trustee Sucker, seconded by Trustee Roberts. Mr. Rosenberg, I believe. Are there any questions? Trustee Roberts. Mr. Rosenberg, if you don't mind. Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Rosenberg. Thank you for investing in Skokie. Could you tell us just a little bit about, I understand there's 3 classes of commercial rental. This would be, our memo says a Class A property?
Oh, like A, B, and C? Sure.
Yeah. And what would you envision this building, who would you envision some of the tenants might be? If you just ballpark, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if we just look at what we did on Grosse Point Road, Snyder's, they're, multi-billion-dollar snack food company. It's pretzel, and they make Pirate's Booty, and they deliver to stores in the area. U.S. Auto Force in that building, their auto parts supply to dealers. So it's everything from brake pads to tires. And the last tenant in that building was, I forget their name, but they repair Mac products, so iPads, MacBooks, that kind of thing, iPhones. So something along those lines, distribution, light assembly would be my guess.
So this is a functionally obsolete building now, and Class A, that's the top.
Yeah, so our buildings, they're 32 clear on the inside, so they can rack all the way up, and they rack them pretty good, where these buildings are 15 clear. They have interior docks, so you lose floor space, and there's maneuvering on the street, which I know is bad for the city, where our buildings, all maneuvering's on site. There's better insulation in the buildings, brand new office space. So typically that's what users right now would like to see.
And how much are you investing in the property?
Probably about 15 million.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Brumberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Wenders.
Aye, the motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
We're looking forward to
Rosenberg.
do more work in Skokie.
Love to have you. Your project on Grosse Point Road is beautiful.
Thank you. And we think this one's going to be a little better.
That's quite a challenge.
Okay, we'll try. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item C is regarding amending Chapter 54 Section 54-297 of the Skokie Village Code to adopt new State of Illinois Food Service Sanitation Code 77, Illinois Administrative Code 750. In 2016, the Illinois Department of Health adopted the U.S. Food and Drug Administration FDA Model Food Code. However, at that time, the Department of Health, the Illinois Department of Health, needed more time to provide guidance to local health departments on how to enforce the new FDA food code, and the village agreed to maintain the existing Illinois Food Service Sanitation Code until the Illinois Department of Public Health was ready to move forward. At this time, the Illinois Department of Public Health is now ready to implement the new FDA food code, effective January 1st of 2019, and the new code language will need to be adopted by the Village of Skokie. I concur with staff's recommendation to authorize Corporation Council to draft the necessary ordinance amendments to the Skokie Village Code pertaining to food service sanitation. Mayor and board approval is respectfully requested.
A motion on the manager's recommendation regarding amending Chapter 54, Article 9, Section 54 to 297 of the Village Code. Motion is in order. Trustee Bromberg, seconded by Trustee Klein. We have with us Dr. Kennard. Are there any comments or questions? Trustee Roberts.
I'm just curious, Dr. Kennard, is this going to be major changes in switching to the new code or improvements that you see that will help the village public health?
Sure. I'm so glad you asked. No, this is actually a wonderful thing. The Food and Drug Administration has been trying since 1995 to have a national standard for food safety because it is science-based, but every state had their own slightly different variations in their own approaches to food safety, and then that was difficult for companies that operated across state lines, and so we're very excited about it. The FDA food code has been considered the gold standard, and it's based on preventing foodborne illness and death from consuming food that's contaminated. So it's actually a step in the right direction. I think it's a lot simpler than the process that we were using before, and as John Lockerbie mentioned, the difficulty was that although our state adopted the food code in 2016, they did not have rules, forms, training, guidance, or anything in place for local health departments or for food service establishments to be able to implement it. And so fortunately, we worked with you, with Corporation Council, and you have a copy of Mr. Lorge's notes from that time that, asking if you could continue the existing Illinois State Food Safety Sanitation Code until they were ready now 2 years later to move forward. So we're very excited. We have been working with the 360 or so food service establishments in the village, and I think it's a really good thing. Actually, there's now only a couple of states that haven't adopted this code, so we're moving in the right direction. Anybody else have a question?
Trustee
Yes.
Sucker.
In a meeting with the food establishments, what are their reactions to the FDA?
There's really, it's not a whole lot different as far as what they have to do. So we're not seeing tremendous change. It was more, a focus modification than anything else. So, and I think that the forms are a lot easier to understand.
Good, okay, thank you.
Okay. We are always very collaborative with our food service establishments and making sure we're all moving in the right direction. That's the approach that we take. We're not punitive. Okay. Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
Item D was approved under tonight's consent agenda, and that completes my report this evening.
Next item on our agenda is report of our Corporation Council. Michael Lorge.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. Good evening, everyone. I'm joined tonight by members of the Corporation Council's office. Items A, B, and C were adopted from my agenda at the beginning of the meeting as part of the consent agenda. They were all up for second reading. Item D is a request for an executive session in accordance with paragraph 2C11 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act pertaining to the review and discussion of pending litigation. I'd ask Mayor for board action on this.
Motion on the executive session this evening at the request of the Corporation Council is in order. Trustee Alonka Ulrich, seconded by Trustee Sutker. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Vendis. And
Aye, the motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor. That would conclude my report for this evening.
Next item are two matters of new business. Chairman of the Plan Commission, Paul Luke, with Peter Pyle.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. We have a special use request for a non-conforming building at Tozine's Auto Service, and I believe Peter will present that case.
Thank you, Mayor. The Community Development Department received a request from the owners of Tolzien's Auto Service at 7877 Lincoln Avenue on behalf of a contract purchaser for relief under Section 118-255 of the zoning chapter to allow the continued use of the property as an automotive repair facility. Under the provisions of this ordinance, the board can grant an extension of the non-conforming use that will be expiring in 2020. The subject property was built in 1946, and it was a gas station, service station. And in 1978, the property owner requested a extension of the non-conforming use from the the Zoning Board of Appeals, which was granted until December 2003. And that was going to expire, and in 1992, the property owners then Tolzien's came in and requested another extension of the non-conforming use. At the same time, they went through our facade rebate program and significantly improved the appearance of the site. So at that time, the extension was made until 2020. And now that the property is for sale, the new property owners would like an extension of that. Of course, it's a mortgage issue and other things on the ownership to be sure that they can continue to operate the facility. After receiving the request, the building was inspected by the fire department and building department, and we find it to be structurally sound. There are only some minor cleanup things that need to be done, which will be taken care of during the certificate of occupancy program. So the board may grant this relief, provided that 5 basically findings of fact are met. Staff has reviewed it and believes that all 5 of those conditions are met and recommends approval of the extension. Now, this is different than when the zoning board extended it. They did it to a date certain. Under this, there's an agreement. It's kind of either a covenant or some kind of an agreement that Corporation Council will draft, and it will continue as long as the use is in existence or the building should it be damaged or totally destroyed.
A motion on the request for relief regarding Tolzien's Auto Service, a non-conforming building and use at 7877 Lincoln Avenue is in order. Trustee Klein, seconded by Trustee Roberts. Are there any comments or questions? Trustee Klein.
Quick question. Are you saying that a covenant is going to be required?
Yes.
Now, for this extension, you're not giving it a time limit that you have previously, are you?
No.
Okay.
In the past, the Zoning Board of Appeals had the authority to do that. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, that authority was taken away from the Zoning Board because we found that most of these uses would come back again and get extension, and we'd really wanted more evaluation of it before that would occur. We'll probably have a couple more coming up in the next few months. Most of them are residential, things like coach houses and second, like auxiliary buildings, but there aren't too many out there, really.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Vendis.
Aye, the motion passes.
Our next item under new business is case 2018-0M. The Community Development Department received a request from G.W. Skokie LLC on behalf of Sprint at 9323 Skokie Boulevard to amend the site plan approval ordinance 18-8-Z4409 through the modified review procedure. The site plan was approved in 2018 to allow the construction of a Wendy's limited service restaurant in a unified development with an existing multi-tenant commercial building in a B3 business district. Sprint has leased the westernmost space in the multi-tenant building at 9323 Skokie Boulevard, facing Skokie Boulevard. Although the tenant space has street exposures, Sprint has asked for a sign relief to place a sign on the north and south sides of the building, tower feature, to increase the visibility of the store. The wall sign that is allowed and approved for the use is located on the south side of the building, where it is not visible from the southbound traffic on Skokie Boulevard. The location and size of the currently installed wall sign does not allow the Sprint sign to be read in time by passing traffic on Skokie Boulevard as it travels northbound. Staff has reviewed the request for sign relief to amend the site plan approval ordinance. Staff has no objections to the request. The Appearance Commission had reviewed and approved the petitioner's sign package at its August 8th, 2018 meeting. Therefore, it is respectfully recommended that the petitioner's request for an approval to amend the site plan approval ordinance 18-8Z4409 to grant relief from section 82-27C2 to allow additional signage on the property.
I'm going to just simply make it a motion on case 2018-05M is in order as recommended. Trustee Roberts, seconded by Trustee Sutker. Any comments, questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg. Aye. Trustee Klein. Mayor Vendis.
Aye, the motion passes. Next item on the agenda are 4 items of the Plan Commission.
Okay. These 4 cases or actually 3 cases that I'm going to present are related to each, and I will go through each of them, give you a brief overview, and then the board will need to vote on each separate case. First case is 2018-36P zoning map amendment. At the October 18th meeting of the Plan Commission, we reviewed the request of Byline Bank and Metro Storage to amend the zoning chapter to change the zoning district for 3200 and 3250 Tui Avenue from a B2 commercial to B3 business. The petitioners desire to rezone the subject site, which presently contains a bank and a drive-through and second-story offices at 3200 Tui and vacant undeveloped land at 3250 Tui to B3 in order to redevelop 3250 Tui property and construct a car wash, which is coming up in the next case. Although there is currently no proposal to redevelop the 3200 Tui site, the property is being included in this request for consistency in the zoning chapter, increasing potential redevelopment options and the appropriateness of the B3 zoning at this corner location. Planning Commission concurred with staff's recommendation. Moving on to case 2018-37P, site plan approval. Also at the October 18th meeting, the Planning Commission reviewed the request to modify an existing site plan approval in case 2015-6P for a 3-lot planned development to add a car wash at 3250 Tui Avenue in a B3 business district. The site, the size and location of the proposed building, as well as the site circulation is being modified. Southbound queuing for the car wash will be on the west side of the site. The existing parking and ground sign that are located on the Tui right-of-way will be moved northward wholly onto private property behind new landscaping. 14 vacuum stations and 2 parking spaces will be off to the center of north-south driveway at 5, and 5 parking spaces will be located on the east-west driveway. Staff supported the proposal subject to certain conditions and directional sign modifications. There were no interested parties that spoke at the meetings. The Plan Commission has approved this request. In case 2018-38P was a parking determination which does not require board approval. In case 2018-39P, special use permit, at the Plan Commission meeting, we also reviewed a request for a 4,526 square foot automatic conveyor car wash with 14 vacuum stations and 7 off-street parking spaces in the B3 district, plus relief from chapters 82-28B1B to allow an east wall sign and west wall sign in addition to the allowable south wall sign, and any other relief that may be discovered. The overall site provides adequate parking and exceeds the number of required spaces. There will be adequate room to stack and queue 33 to 39 for vehicles within the immediate car wash area in 3 queuing lines in between the pay stations and to the entrance tunnel. The projected traffic generated and access to the car wash can be accommodated by the existing access system. No interested parties, a neighborhood resident indicated there was adjacent on-street parking on the Kedzie, and the neighborhood would not be impacted. He had that to offer. So therefore, the Plan Commission moved to approve the request for a special use.
There are 4 cases before us, so before we start going through the votes, generally speaking, I would just like to ask if anybody has any comments or questions on the project. Trustee Roberts.
Peter, would you mind just kind of showing us how the cars would flow through the car wash, please?
Smaller drawing here. Thank you. Okay, it doesn't work now. Okay, so let me just point out, this is Tui down here, and Kedzie along here. And so here's a signalized intersection, and here's a right in only and right out. And you come into the main drive and then go across, and then you come down in through here. Here's the stacking area, and then you come into the tunnel car wash. And then you come out on the north side, and all along here are vacuum cleaners, and we're cleaning out the cars.
Could you also enter and exit off of Kedzie?
Yes,
Or-
you can. This driveway already exists. There's also a driveway to the north, but that would not connect you. So the main drives are here on Tui, and then the one on Kedzie.
What's to the west?
To the west, actually to the west
The
is the
canal.
canal.
The embankment.
And over here are single-family homes. There's a kind of an open area along Kedzie, and then the single-family homes start further east.
Which is the Chicago.
So there's no staff doesn't feel it's gonna back up traffic on Tui, it'll be people coming in and then they can get out and go north to Howard if they want, or
That's right.
come back and go to the traffic signal and head east
They can go.
on Tui.
Yes. I mean, the car wash will have fairly large volume, but the traffic analysis looked at it, and based on the overall traffic on Tui, it's very minimal. But as everybody knows, that intersection is very well utilized. I was there on Sunday, and I think it was backed up for 2 blocks on Sunday.
Yeah, well, that's kind of prompted my,
Yeah.
so it looks like there's avenues for clients of the company to, or the car wash to get around that traffic.
That's right. The car wash operates very quickly, so even though there's a lot of volume, it's not all at one time. And so during the daytime and the operators are here, they could explain it much better than I can. But it's not like it's gonna dump a lot of traffic all at once onto the street.
Well, and I was curious, and I know our environmental commission will be, they bill it, your company says you're the greenest car wash in, could someone maybe talk about that a little bit? No, because I appreciate that.
Could you
If you
come up to the
you could
podium, please?
come, thank you.
Hello, Craig Nelson with Car Wash Development LLC. So a number of different things in the car wash industry have evolved over a period of years, and one of the things is water reclamation. And in many instances, and Steve can take you through the technical sides of it, but a lot of people say that they're reclaiming and reprocessing. When you actually dig down into the numbers, it's not necessarily true. Our car washes have the ability to run at the rate of between 15 and 19 gallons of fresh water per car, utilizing a total of 45 gallons. And so we're reclaiming and reprocessing anywhere from, say, 28 gallons to almost 30 to 32 gallons a car in many of the instances. One of the reasons that we're able to do that is because we have larger reclaim chambers than most of our competitors, and then we also, and Steve can take you through this, we have a better filtration and reclaim process that allows us to reutilize that. The other thing that we're doing that's substantially different is that we employ what are called variable frequency drives on all of our electrical motors. That eliminates the spikes in the start and stop of the electrical device, and that levels out the amount of electrical usage that you have, so that we're running just about 2.75 to 3.1 kilowatt hours per car, which is much lower than most of our competitors. So in those ways, we're much greener. One of the materials that we use on the building is called a Nichiha panel system. It's a fiber cement panel that you've seen in a number of different buildings. But Nichiha, the manufacturer, actually reclaims 95% of the water that they utilize in their processing of the concrete panels, so that we're not going for LEED certification, but a lot of the things that we do, we feel like we're getting much better and much greener in our technology. So those are probably the 3 biggest areas. The 4th area is our chemical usage. All of our chemicals are biodegradable. And because of the spraying systems and the applications that we utilize, we're much more precise on getting the soap onto the car, so we utilize less chemical because there's less waste. So, Steve, I don't know if you've got...
No, I applaud your efforts.
Thank you.
That's excellent.
Is there anybody who wishes to address the board? Okay, first item then is Plan Commission Case 2018-36P zoning map amendment for 3200 and 3250 Tui Avenue. Motion on this Plan Commission case is in order. Trustee Klein, seconded by Trustee Bromberg. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. Plan Commission Case 2018-37P, site plan approval, 3200, 3220, and 3252. Motion is in order. Trustee Roberts, seconded by Trustee Alanka. Call the roll.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Vendus.
Aye, the motion passes. Plan Commission Case 2018-38P, parking
39P, You're up, Mayor. The parking determination does not need a board approval.
Oh, okay. Is that correct? Okay.
But the Plan Commission determined there was adequate parking. right?
Yes.
Okay, Plan Commission Case 2018-39P, special use permit, 3250 Tui Avenue. Motion is in order. Trustee Bromberg, seconded by Trustee Klein. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Vendus.
Aye, the motion passes. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
We're proud to be a part of that scope, so thank you very much.
We're proud to have you. It's very impressive technology you're using. Thank you for bringing it to us.
Thank you.
When everybody gets a chance, I know it's our little car wash world, but actually the one we're putting up here in this industry, it's one of the most state-of-the-art in the country, so it's got unique features, which you'll see in your pictures there, but love to have you come by when we get going. It's very interesting to see what happens inside this thing.
Okay.
Make all the wheels run, so.
We'll be there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That concludes my report, and happy Thanksgiving to all.
Happy Thanksgiving. The concluding item this evening is citizen comment. Is there anybody who wishes to address? Yes. If you will come to the microphone and give us your name and address, please.
My name is, right here?
Yeah.
My name is Stephen Grant, and I've been a resident of Skokie since 1961. And I chose to live here, and it seems like things are not always as free as we would like to. I live in an area which is, I would say, north of Grosse Pointe, west of the railroad track, south was, I would call it, Dempster. We have a problem that we did not create rats, rodents, many different kind of rodents. And I can imagine that that thing cannot be some way limited. We know that's a country problems. Occasionally we've been harassed by the village, make the person of the building responsible. My daughter has a little doggy, and she takes a walk for the night, and she said they are running just like cars on a highway. And I think village should not try to accuse the owners of the property for taking responsibility and paying to eliminate them. I guess that's the comment that I would like to bring it up.
Okay, if you don't mind, before you leave, if you would give us your phone number, we'll be in touch with you.
Okay.
And we'll look into the situation.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to address the village board? If not, trustee Roberts,
I move we adjourn for executive session.
we are adjourned.
Happy Thanksgiving to all.